Hey there, Prairie Plant Girl here. Well, it's the middle of April now, and as you see, we've got snow again. Garden's covered with snow. I have my greenhouse all closed up. There's frost blankets on top of the plants there. I don't know if you can see it. Everything's tucked in. I have a little heater going in there. There's actually a piece of plastic across the front of the door there because there's gaps beside the door, so I'm trying to keep the air in there as much as I can. But I still need to do some planting and get ready because spring is really happening. We will be planting soon. The warm weather will come. So let's go in the house where it's warmer and I'll show you what we're going to be working on today. First though, actually, this isn't an ad, but someone was asking about the boots I wear, and I'm not sure if these are the ones they were asking about or not. These are Grubbs boots. Frostline Mid 5.0. I really like them. They were sent to me for free. They're warm for most places winter. They wouldn't be winter boots here in Saskatchewan. And they're waterproof. And when it's even on warmish days here in the spring, what we have had, they're nice, they're comfortable. I like them. I do have sheepskin liners in them. It's a little more comfortable that way, but they're really nice boots. I probably, if I wore socks, wouldn't need the liners, but I rarely wear socks. So if those are the boots you're talking about, that's what they are. Let's go inside and get some planting done. Okay, so we're back in my grow room. The lighting isn't the best in here, I realize that, but it's just not worth being in and out of the greenhouse right now. It's -1 outside and it's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And it's supposed to get to -11 tonight. So I want to keep as much heat in there as I can. So we're going to be working in here. And one of the things we're going to be doing, which I'm probably way too late doing, but I'm going to give it a go anyways, is someone asked me in the comments the other day, what about my sweet potato slips for this year? And I was like, I forgot to get them started. So I'm going to give it a go and see what I can do here. But all I'm going to be doing is looking through. This is an Ipomia margarita, I believe. It's like a decorative sweet potato vine that I saved some tubers. I don't even know if you can see them in there. So this is what I saved last year. One's completely dried out looking. The other one still, it's squishy, but firm enough that I think it's worth giving it a try. So I'm going to try and get some of those going. And then these are the sweet potatoes that I grew last year that are for eating. They're just from the grocery store. They were just organic sweet potatoes that I picked up at the grocery store and sprouted and grew myself. And I've been storing these things out in my garage. It's cooler out there, darker out there. But this one already has some sprouts on it. So I'm going to use that. Another little one here that has some sprouts. This one looks like it's trying to sprout. There's some in here that are just skinny and dried up and I could probably just toss while I'm going through, and a few that are left that are good to eat. So I'll give you a better look and show you what I'm going to do with them, and hopefully I can get some slips going here before it's time to get them planted out. I have about a month before my average last frost. So I should label them. So I'm just going to grab some labels. And then I have these 2 trays. They're just filled with vermiculite. This is the vermiculite I'm using. I just got this at my local, I don't know, farm supply store, I guess it would be. It's PV Mart. I've also purchased this at hardware stores before, different brand, and you can order it on Amazon. It's usually a lot more. Sometimes you get them at garden centers. Sometimes I have trouble doing that here. So here, I'm gonna put that there. That there. This is just not going to take long. This is a little squishy actually on the bottom, but I'm going to give it a go. But I got 2 seasons out of my Ipomia, so if this one doesn't sprout for me, that's fine. We'll stick that in there. I don't think either of them are going to do anything, but that's the decorative one. I'll just put a humidity dome over them. So I'll show you in a minute because I'm going to do the same thing for both. So here's the edible guys, and this guy's already sprouting here, so you see the little sprouts coming off, and that's what we're trying to do, is get them sprouting. So I'm just going to lay them in the vermiculite here, just kind of nestled in. This guy has this long dried up tail that's just in the way, so let's get out of the way. And then I can fit him in there. And let's see if there's any more here that are already kind of sprouting, because that would be ideal. This little guy, it's gonna be hard to peel anyways, and there's, I don't know how well you see, but there's some tiny little sprouts forming there, so perfect. And this guy and these two both have some. So again, I'm gonna cut off some of the kind of skinny, long bits here. And again, I don't know what variety this is. It's like an orange flesh inside. They're nice and sweet. Okay, so I've just set those Ipomia in their vermiculite. This vermiculite, I can see a little water in the bottom, so I may have over moistened them. I'll keep an eye on them and see, as long as the Ipomia aren't getting like soft and moldy and squishy, that's fine. If they are, I'll have to lift them out and put a little more vermiculite that's dry in there just to take some of that moisture out. But I'm going to be putting them on a heat mat. So I've plugged a heat mat in over here on this shelf. I'm gonna set them on there and just put a humidity dome on to hold that humidity. And I'm just going to keep an eye on them, and once the sprouts get big enough that I can come along and cut them off the sweet potato vine, or sometimes you just kind of twist them in the pull off, I'll be popping those off and putting them in water, or if sometimes they'll have a little bit of roots on them, you can put them right in soil and get them started inside so that they're a little bit bigger plants to start out when it's warm enough, well past my average last frost, to get them in the ground. If you want more information about that, I did do a bunch of videos, I think, on this last year. I'll try and get them all linked down for you. Unfortunately, I don't think it's all in one video because it was over several months, but I'll try and get that done for you so you can have a look at the actual whole process of it happening. So I'm gonna put the rest of these, actually I'm gonna go through these real quick and pull out the dried up guys here, and we'll see what I have left after a winter. I probably eat these close to once a week. Ooh, throwing them around. See, like this, I'm not gonna bother peeling and take care of that, so we'll get rid of it. There's a nice one. That one I would use. I might peel that. So they do dehydrate a little bit over time with storage. So that's why some are pretty skinny and I don't want to keep them and bother fussing with them. But I had saved them anyways. That one's actually starting to sprout quite a bit too. Maybe I should throw it in. Ooh, just toss them all over the place here. A couple more will be worth. Oh, that one's really sprouting too. We'll save that one. There. So I have that I'm going to just throw in the compost. I don't think it's worth. Oh, there's one more I'll save. I don't think the rest of these are worth kind of messing around with. And so let's go in the compost, and then I'll save this pile here. That'll be probably 2 more weeks of sweet potatoes. That's not bad for my first time growing sweet potatoes. I'm happy with that. So, and I'm gonna stick these two in with the edible ones because they're have some really nice sprouts started, so I may as well try and take advantage of that. Sweet potatoes, done. The next thing we're going to be doing is working on getting my melons and cantaloupe planted here. So yes, it's cold, it's snowy outside. Yes, these are vining crops that grow fairly quickly, but I find at around that 3 to 4 weeks before my average last frost, great time to get them started indoors so that I have something to grow once my average last frost date is reached, and I can put some good protection on them if the soil is warm, get them outside. You could wait a week after your average last frost date, check the forecast, see how things are going in your area, and get the best go that you can. I have about 110 frost-free days here in my area, so the faster I can get everything going, the better. Okay, try and raise this operation up for you a little bit here. Now, I'm not even sure. I thought I had it written down somewhere, but I don't, so I need to go through these, see what I'm gonna grow this year. Now, my onion seeds are in here too, so get those out of the way. And we'll see what we have and what we're going to grow. Scaly bark. I have some saved Minnesota midget. That's fresh Minnesota midget. Moon and stars. Sweet Siberian. Tip-top melon. More onions, more onions. Okay, so it looks like I have three types of watermelon and 2 types of like cantaloupe. So I may as well just start them all because that's how it goes, right? I'm going to use these peat pots here. I just get these from Amazon. And they'll break down a little bit in the soil. Now, they're not perfect here in my climate, but there'll be a lot less root disturbance if I just come when it's time to plant them out and just slit them down the side with like a utility knife or something. Or even, they're usually wet from watering and kind of, you just pull them with your finger a bit. Then trying to like massage and manipulate a plastic seed container and then pull that whole root ball out and put it in the soil. I just find they transplant a little better that way. Sometimes melons, cantaloupe can be a little bit sensitive to transplanting. It's just a compost-based potting soil and some peat moss that I've mixed together. It's about half and half. I've been using it to pot up my peppers and various flowers and things in here the last few days while I wait out the cold. So I'll just do I'll do 2 pots of each variety with 2 seeds in each pot. So what I say, I had 2, 4, 5 things. So if I make 10 of these pots, we should be good. And I should have just enough soil for that. And I should have done this before I filled them, but I'm just gonna write on them. I'm gonna grow them all the same and all in the same spot. So if for some reason this bleeds, it won't be a big deal. Okay, so I've just put some water in here to let them soak up the water. And while they're soaking up the water, I'm going to plant the seeds. You want to put them about 1/2 inch deep. Let's go like this. 1/2 to 1 inch deep. So I'm just going to make a little divot with my finger. And you see there's lots of room in this tray. That's because I am thinking that I can start my my pumpkins and things in the same tray later on. And then as they sprout, I can just take out the ones that have sprouted. But so here's what the seeds look like. So this is the cantaloupe seed. This is tip top. These are several years old. So I said I'd put 2 seeds in each, but I think I'm going to do 3 just to be on the safe side since I'm not doing a whole lot of containers. And then I'll just cover them over like that. And that's exactly how I'll do all of them. Some pumpkin seeds look a little bit different. Yeah, sometimes the watermelon seeds will look kind of dark or funny looking, so that's fine. That's just the type they are. Don't be concerned. Make sure I'm putting this in the right variety. Yeah, so that's the scaly bark right there going in. Again, I did 3 because I just want to make sure I have at least 1 germinate in each of these pots here. There's the sweet Siberian seed. So you see it looks a little bit more the color of the cantaloupe, but a little rounder. So it's a watermelon seed. And you might think because they're that light color like that those aren't viable because, you know, you have the light and dark seeds in the watermelon, but those are good seeds. And then we have the moon and stars. And they're a fun seed. You see how they're kind of speckled, maybe you can see that. So the moon and stars watermelon rind is actually kind of speckled too. It can almost look diseased, but it's not. It's just a little bit speckled. So and then we have the Minnesota midget. I'm going to do 1 with the store-bought seed. And then I'm going to put a little asterisk on this one. So remind me later why I put an asterisk on there. And I'm going to use my seed that I pulled out of my own Minnesota midget melon. And now I haven't done a germination test, so I'm gonna do 4 in there. Because they say that when you grow things in your own climate, they get they start to grow better in that climate if you collect the seeds. So we'll see how we do with those. I will put a humidity dome on this, and I have a heat mat, but it keeps falling off my shelf. So you're gonna have to dig it out, get it back up on the shelf there. It's plugged in, but it keeps, I don't know, the cord's weighting it down or something. So I'm just gonna set it up there just the same as the sweet potato vines. I'll just set this on a heat mat, the humidity dome on, and watch for germination. When I have germination, I will just take, like, as each pot germinates, I'll take it out and just put it in a separate container under lights. So these don't need to be under lights right now. This is just the most convenient place for me to have them. But once they germinate, they need to be under lights. Nice, bright, strong light, and they need to be somewhere nice and warm. And to germinate, they need to be warm too. So that's going to be my plan going forward, is just have them on the heat mat under a humidity dome, and as they germinate, pull them out, put them in a different tray that doesn't have the humidity dome or the heat mat, and put them just under lights that way. I hope that makes sense. And that's all there's going to be to getting my watermelon and cantaloupe going. Let me dig that heat mat out and get these put up again. Stay. Get these over there without spilling them, because they're still soaking up that water. Oh shoot, no. Got that heat mat pulled up here. That was a trick in itself with a shelf full of plants. Got the tray transferred over from my table onto here. I only managed to tip half the pots. So now I have a nice tray full of muddy water. But I'll have to come along anyways and dump out any excess water. In about an hour, I'll come in, check. All the pots should have absorbed up water and be nice and moist and damp by then. And then I can dump out any excess water, clean that tray out a little bit, make sure there's no seeds in there, and put them back on the heat mat. But it looked like none of the pots that fell over actually lost the seeds that were in them, so I think I'm okay with that. It's just been one of those days, hey? So thanks for coming along. We got the melons started here. They're sown and on their heat mat with a humidity dome. I've got the sweet potato vines started a little late, but I think because they'd already started to sprout, I'm hoping I should be okay with that. And you know, it's still nice on a cold April day that feels like winter out there to be able to get some things that are really nice hot weather crops started inside, because it just reminds me that really the hot weather is just right around the corner, and you just keep going as a gardener, right? And eventually it all comes together for you. So hopefully you're having better weather, or at least getting to plant a few things and get ready for that gardening season. Thanks for coming along with me today, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.